There is something so powerful and mysterious about a confident woman. You can almost feel the energy shift when a fearless female walks into the room. We all either know one, have raised one, or are one. But what does it mean to be a fearless female? Good evening and welcome to another episode of Women Talk. My name is Zoraya.
And I'm Deborah, and this is our final episode for Season 2 Women Talk. We're so excited to be rounding off the show with two fantastic, fearless females today on the show.
Yes.
And we're talking about feminine energy. I think it's important, you know, we do have this discussion often, but I think it's one to keep having feminine energy, what it means to be a woman in today's world, and to really own our place.
The power of women, I know. I find it just amazing, like when you see a woman who is really embracing her divine feminine and who just owns her femininity, who she is. She's not trying to be anyone else, she is just herself, and so sure of it, taking on the characteristics that we've been given and blessed with and running with it. It's amazing.
It's a powerful place to be.
Yeah. And first, let's introduce our fantastic guest, Mazlan Othman. Thank you so much for being with us here today. So you have many accolades, and the one that I find amazing is that you were the former director of the UN Office for Outer Space, and you were the first female to hold that position, am I right?
Yes.
And then you're also the first Malaysian astrophysicist.
Yes.
That's absolutely incredible.
Many firsts.
So many questions to ask you after this.
And we have this wonderful lady in red, Dato Paduka, Setia Diraja, Nora, Abdullah. You are a protocol consultant and etiquette specialist, very interesting role indeed, and of course a published author, many accolades. I'm interested to ask you actually how etiquette and protocol functions or exists in the world today. I mean, you know, with social media, with people just breaking down what we typically think of the right ways to do things.
Yes.
How does it?
The first thing someone in my position has to completely accept and understand these days is that it's not so much about doing the right thing, but doing the appropriate thing. You know, I mean, I might say to you, well, Deborah, you know, I don't think you're doing the right thing, but you say, well, no, you know, I'm doing what I feel is best. But if it's appropriate to the situation that you find yourself in, for someone in my position, I need to accept. So very quickly, what I do these days, because as you mentioned earlier with, you know, social media and all that, is that I observe and observe and observe, and then I absorb and I absorb, and then I also, well, you know, one needs to move with the times, and then I also adopt to certain situations.
So you've got to evolve.
Absolutely. And I also adapt.
A few years ago, I mean, it was quite the norm for most women to go to finishing school, right?
Right.
And to learn all of these etiquette. Oh, you did?
Yes.
I mean, it's a lost art. We don't do that anymore.
No,
I
we
mean,
don't.
but I think there is some value to it.
But also then they say, shouldn't you be teaching men how to cook and sew a button on their pants? I mean, they need it too.
Why are we bothered about them?
True.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, yeah. So, yes, you know, when it comes to protocol and etiquette, Tansri, anytime jump in, as being women, we are expected to be a little more well-mannered than our male counterparts. What do you have to say about that?
We're speaking to Tansri now, and you've led the first in so many, and also in a field I can imagine did not have many women. What was that like? What was that journey?
It was tough. Yeah. I mean, I was always in a room where, you know, women were the exception rather than the rule, and the fact that women didn't have much of a voice,
right?
Either in the diplomatic circle, in the academic circle, or even, you know, in the education circle. When we talk about space science or astrophysics, I mean, you can count the feet on the one hand. The women there.
But were you expected to carry yourself better than your male counterparts?
No, I never felt that.
That's good.
What do you confidence?
Yeah, exactly.
Confidence.
You owned your place, like I'm here and I'm going to do.
I owned my place all the time. Whether I was going to a religious meeting or meeting the president of a country, I always, you know, dress, I thought, what was appropriate. But you know, not according to some etiquette. Of course, you know, you know that you cannot wear jeans in certain places, although I wish I could. But I do get out of my jeans from time to time.
I mean, being an astrophysicist, that's such a fascinating field, and I'd love to ask you a little bit more about this, but we're going to cut to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll find out exactly what this field is all about.
This is an extension from our TV3 Women Talk shows to On Ground. And we have very good panel that talk about what is important for women today. Women like mental health, and also I found out about Love You More today, because most of the time, right, you think about your family members before you think about yourself. But from today, the workshop, it is important, right? Before you can take care of others, you have to take care of yourself first. And I also would like to thank our sponsors, which is pelbagai and Proviton, to be able to support us in this event.
It is a beautiful event where we have this networking session, meeting all the wonderful women in Malaysia, and I'm so proud to be part of this program. And I think the topic which has been discussed on the stage was a really, really good topic that we can be part of the discussion.
I've seen that happening many times, you know. In order to go straight, you've got to take many curves.
This is a very good event. This is one of the an interesting talk show by TV3, because all this while TV3 has been having a lot of Malay women talk shows. So this time around is you know, women, English women talk shows. And we have a great lineup of panelists, and also the attendees. I would say that the attendees are, you know, a good mix of entrepreneurs, and there are some who are also professionals. So this is a very good platform that I think, you know, young and upcoming women who are very entrepreneurial and who wants to reach out and have, if you like, a platform where they can either promote their products or they want to get tips.
Over the years, that I learned that there will be certain.
Wow, look at that. Amazing. Maya, the Iron Lady, Malaysian woman scaling the top of our Petronas KLCC Twin Towers.
I think she's up there changing light bulbs or something.
Certainly not
like
for the faint-hearted.
No,
not for everyone scared of heights. Yeah. But I wanted to ask you, Tan Sri, were there moments in your life where you had to be fearless in wanting to achieve something that you know was hard?
Yeah, I thought about this, and I know that there was one time when I thought I was truly fearless. That was the time when I decided to undertake the Angkasawan program. This program to send the first Malaysian to space. Why was I being fearless at the time? Because number one, we had no budget, zero budget. Number two, you know, it was very high profile. Number three, no human resource. I had very few people.
Sounds like a fantastic dream job.
And then number four, the whole government infrastructure was not ready for it. Wow. And knowing all of that, I decided, you know what, I think we have to move on and do this. You know?
How long did it take you?
Almost 5 years.
Amazing.
And as it turned out, it was the worst 5 years of my life.
Oh, really?
So it really was the most challenging thing I ever undertook.
So we learn, and we grow.
Of course we did.
And when you talk about being fearless, did you have to stay fearless for those 5 years?
For those 5 years.
Amazing.
To hold on to your principles, to remain, to have a sense of integrity, you know. Yeah. But at the same time, make sure things were succeed.
What interested you about astrophysics? I mean, it's such a different field to go into.
Well, in short, I'd always, when I was younger, loved the arts and literature, English literature. You've seen me at those arts programs. So I wanted to do arts and literature, but I wasn't allowed to because I was doing too well in science. So my teachers, when I was 15, decided that I should go into the science field. And I was 15, I was, you know, I went along with it, but I've not regretted it, of course, because then when I fell in love with physics, then when I went to university, I fell in love with astrophysics, because astrophysics is what brings back everything together, the arts, you know, the aesthetics, the philosophy, of course, the religion, the culture, everything is embodied in astronomy and astrophysics. Not many people know this. They think it's a very, very hard science thing, but no.
I love hearing you speak about it. You're so passionate about it. It makes me want to get into it.
But that's the beautiful part. We're breaking down these barriers of which also define us, but also what science, what art is, and realizing everything's connected. And we really need all of our skill sets and to embrace all the sides of what makes us women, to embrace this. And, and I love this because it's, you know, the fact that you're sharing your story, it's that you did it. And every young girl out there, every woman out there needs to know that she can do it. She can, whatever that looks like for her, it can be. Maybe, Dato, to talk a bit about risks. Are they always worth it?
You know, off the back of what Tan Sri said, mine was more of a personal nature, but I'm allowed to say whatever, well, most of what I want anyway. I think one of the most, what was it, fearless things I ever did in my life was the decision to actually become single again. It really was not easy. You know, I grew up within a very stable family background, and also married into a very stable family as well. But things didn't work out. So for me, I felt it was very brave for me to actually admit to myself, to start off with, that it wasn't working out, that, you know, I have nothing against my former husband. It was just two personalities that somehow decided that life was probably going to be a little better if we decided that we wanted to go our separate ways. So I'm not, I mean, I don't know how you ladies feel about this, but I felt that was probably one of the bravest things.
Absolutely.
You know, for me to decide to do that. I mean, it was just as brave as if I said to you, okay, I'm going to go off and, you know, shoot myself into space.
Fly to Mars.
Exactly, you know. So
it was same emotional strength that it does. It's the same.
And, you know, with all the things I had to think about, you know, what would my mother say? She's going to disown me. What was my daughter going to do without a father and all that? But being a woman, I didn't want anything at the end of a very, very long and difficult day to stop me from reaching the potential that I thought I had, as not so much as a woman, but as a human being. And so for me, that is the story I share.
That's amazing.
I would totally agree with you, because I too went through a divorce, and I found contentment in life after divorce, because then I could pursue things that I value. I didn't have to, you know, circle around somebody, walking on eggshells around somebody. I pursued what I thought I valued in my life. And that was after the divorce.
After you became single again.
That's amazing.
You see, I'm so careful about the words I use. I don't even use the word, the D word. Like the scientist.
She's like, say it as it is.
So I say, I'm single again.
And I think that this is something that so many different women can actually relate to as well, because many of us are either thinking about it or have gone through it ourselves. And yes, it does take a certain level of fearlessness, because there's so many other people that you have to think about as well. But we're going to speak a little bit more about the allure of being confident when we come back from the break. Welcome back to Women Talk, where we are speaking about being a fearless female. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the allure of being confident. Now, Dato, what does it mean to you to be confident
this might be strange to you, but I really feel a confident woman is a woman who is not afraid to admit when she's made a mistake. Because that's not easy.
No.
You know, most of us, we think we've done everything, we've seen everything, we've met everyone, and then suddenly, you know, we stumble and we fall, and then, oh gosh, you know, did we really do that? And it takes a lot of confidence, and again, you know, a lot of self-worth to say, no, I did it wrong. Main aspect of being a confident woman, and that's to be able to face up to the fact that we've done something not quite the way it should have been done, and then also be brave enough to get it right.
That's a great answer. Yeah. Tan Sri, do you agree? Do you have something to add?
You know what? I'm not sure I'm alluring when I'm confident.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking of that word allure, and I was
I was thinking, no, doesn't go together. But anyway, being confident, I think, in all the projects I've done, I had to be super confident because I was leading a group of people who looked up to me for all the directions. Well, of course, they have their own ideas, but if I didn't have that confidence, it wouldn't engender the confidence they would have in my leadership.
How do I be like that?
Yeah. So the nice thing is I never have to think, oh, I'm going to bring female here, or I'm going to be very gender biased here. I didn't have to, because the women just gravitated towards me. So the young women, they're always saying, oh, they want to do science, they want to do astrophysics. So maybe that's what you call a role model.
Maybe that is your allure.
I didn't have to work very hard.
Yours is like that indirect allure that comes.
It is allure, right?
That's correct.
Well, I'd say yes.
But I think it's true though, like when you see a woman who is truly confident in who she is, it is alluring.
Yes,
you look at that and go, oh, I want to talk to her, I want to be friends with her, I want to be like her.
Yes,
absolutely. I'm really interested to ask you, because you're an author of many, many books, and you've probably done tons of workshops, taught a lot of young women about etiquette, about how to be a, good woman, however one may define that. But my question to you is, like, if you had a playbook today and you had to teach young women coming into this world, what would you be teaching them? What's relevant?
At the top of my list would be that good manners always works. So if you have offended someone, whether intentionally or otherwise, I know there's some cultures that say, well, why the heck should I say I'm sorry? Because I didn't mean it. But there is nothing wrong in saying, I'm so sorry. Even if I offended you, I didn't mean it, but would you accept my apology anyway? And there is a difference between saying you're sorry and being apologetic. Can I just go back to me again?
Yes.
Because I apologized to my mother for having made some decisions about my life, but I said to her, but I'm not apologetic about it, because I feel I need to do these things because I need to reach a certain level where I feel I have achieved the most that I could at that time.
Dato, can I ask then, do you feel like nowadays the emphasis on good manners is still as strong as it was maybe 50 years back?
No, certainly not. Sadly. You might call me slightly conservative, you might call me slightly old-fashioned. Whichever way you look at it, for me, whatever our mothers taught us, whether my generation, our generation, or yours, I think there are things that we need to keep in mind all the time. Because I don't think any mother would, in any deliberate shape or form, teach their children anything that would be construed as rude or ill-mannered.
And Tan Sri, for yourself, are you doing things now to reach out to young girls coming out of school?
Encourage them to go to space?
Well, not me doing it, in a very systematic manner, but I accept, invitations to address generally young people. I never refuse an invitation from a group of young people, but I love talking to young career women. They're just getting into their career, they don't know how to treat their boss, and this issue, how feminine should I be? I love those talking with them, because fortunately for me, I felt that I was never judged on how my good manners were. I was always being judged on how well I knew my stuff, you know, like, how brilliant I was and how convincing I was in making an argument. So that's rather fortunate.
Yeah,
so
you're valued on merit.
Is that what you say? Is that what you say to the girl? I mean, is that if you have attractions,
I tell them
that's your recommendation?
If you want to be, you want to progress in your career, the first thing you have to be the top in your field. Whether you're an accountant, an economist, a physicist, or even if you're a clerk, you know, you have to know all the rules. You have to be the best clerk in the office. Then people will respect you. It doesn't matter what field you are in. If you're passionate, you are very meticulous about the way you do things, part of that would be the discipline.
Because I feel like that also kind of like falls into the aspect of carrying yourself well.
Discipline is required in every aspect of life. Yeah. Yes, you know, otherwise chaos.
Exactly.
It's difficult to handle chaos, isn't it? Under whichever circumstances, you know.
Although I must say, in my situation, I love chaos.
Oh, well, I'm sure you do.
Yes, when you're going to be innovative and think of something different, I invite chaos.
Amazing.
Sometimes we don't have enough chaos.
I asked the wrong person.
We're like, we're like, how do we end the show on invite chaos? I'm like,
and then we also, you know, blink it into the way we do things.
Yes.
Discipline is good because you have to achieve something. You've got to be disciplined in that, you know, the way you do it. But you have to invite a bit of, you know, chaos in your office environment.
I love that.
But I love the words today. You know, we're talking about being fearless, about taking risk, about having the courage. The confidence. Sometimes it could be the little things in life. It's not always these big bombastic decisions that you need to make. It could be small decisions you need to make to just make your life a little bit better. Yeah. But great way to round off season 2.
Yes. I mean, I think discipline is such an important aspect to bring into every part of your life, but also embrace the chaos. Because life is always going to come at you with different things.
Unexpected.
Yes. Exactly. And you've just got to be prepared and embrace it.
You need a protocol specialist to get it all in order.
Yes.
In order to deal with some chaos.
I totally agree.
I always like saying method and madness. So,
absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you so much, both of you, for joining Tansi, Dato.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you to our audience for another fantastic season of Women Talk. We hope to see you again in the future.
Season 2. And of course, you can reach out to us on our social media handles. Get in touch. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about in our upcoming season. Until then, take care.
Bye.